Hello, and thank you for joining our presentation for the SAS Safe Roads Competition 2023.
Hi, I am Vaishnavi Shah.
Hi, I'm Hanzhang Li.
Hi, I'm Meenakshi Gohil.
Hi, I'm Joydeep Singh.
Hi, I'm Aniket Chhatani.
We are the data detectives, and I'm Siddhant Gite. We will be starting off with the executive summary, followed by an understanding of our target audience profile, the study flow, and the data analysis. Moving on, we will be deep diving into recommendations and closing out with future studies and conclusion. The objective of this study is to analyze Toronto Police Service's KSI dataset to identify a specific demographic of drivers prone to accidents and recommend solutions to minimize recurrence of collisions, namely among the youth aged 20 to 24. Our primary approach was to take emotional stress and anxiety among the youth into consideration and also help create a safe and trustful driving environment for this demographic in order to avoid any future collisions. For the purpose of this study, we have chosen drivers aged 20 to 24 who are returning home after a stressful day at college as they show signs of aggressive and distracted driving and even disobedience towards traffic rules. Now, the question arises as to why we selected this age group in particular. Where are the locations of collisions this said demographic is getting involved in, and what can we do about it? So the very reason for choosing this particular demographic is that we analyzed the data set and looked at different age segmentations, and we realized that most of the collisions occurring are because of this specific age group, as they are more prone towards getting involved in aggressive driving, speeding, jumping red lights, and alcohol consumption. As we can see from the bar graph and the charts, that the demographic age 20 to 24 is more prone towards collisions due to consumption of alcohol or jumping of red lights.
We will be starting with the data exploration and the analysis. So the different approaches, while we started working with this KSI data, we explored many such objectives, and the following are: improve infrastructure, provide incentives, education and art, protected bike lanes, redesigning all intersection, increase public transit usages. Among them, we selected improve infrastructure, provide incentives, and education and art as the objective for the study. This will be the three different analyses and the recommendations for today's study, which will be taking deep dive in the further presentation. Okay, so starting with the top 5 neighborhoods, using the data set, we find out that these are the top 5 hotspots for the collisions taking place in the Toronto. Among them are Waterfront Community, Woodburn, West Humber, Malvern, and the Ross. Out of that, top 4 collisions which are highest occurring in this neighborhoods are intersections, private drive, intersection related, and the non-intersections. And amongst all of this, the top 3 roads, 5 hotspot out of that 5 hotspot for the collisions, the 3 roads are collector, minor arterial, and the major arterial.
Moving on to our findings here, the bar in the image are the collisions by age 20 to 24-year-old people and summarizes the three type of collisions: aggressive driving, red light, and speeding. We have two small recommendations for this intersection design and calming measures. Authorities can redesign intersection and make them safer for cyclists and pedestrians. For example, they can install pedestrian islands, raised crossovers, and curb extensions to increase the visibilities of pedestrians and cyclists and to reduce the distance they need to cross the road. The traffic calming measures such as speed bumps uh, and and roundabouts have been shown to reduce the number of collisions. In the Bathurst Street and Front York Boulevard intersection, the collisions happened in the dark environment. Also, speeding, aggressive driving are the major reasons. Therefore, we should cooperate with construction and engineering projects to insert the right lighting equipment in the right positions. Additionally, this is a municipal expressway and people will wait for the traffic light and may be more impatient because of the waiting time. If needed, these projects could be cooperated with the psychology students to determine the best waiting time so drivers won't feel impatient. Here's the second example of Bathurst Street East and Parliament Street. This is the T junction. The collisions happens in the dark environment and it is due to aggressive driving. When the environment is dark, humans cannot observe everything clearly and figure out what's happening around them. As my colleague Joydeep would explain it best solution for this in the following slide. Don Valley Parkway and Eastern Avenue. This is the longest pathway and driver may not be aware they should slow down from the municipal expressway. Implementing traffic calming measures in these areas would help driver to slow up, such as speed bumps and speed cushions. Different than the previous example, this intersection in the Parliament Street and Shutter Street are near residents. However, these are multiple causes of collisions in this area happening in the dark environment. The speeding, aggressive driving, and red light are the three major reasons for collisions. First of all, the lighting should be redesigned for passengers and the drivers to view clear. Secondly, the installation of roundabouts, which are circular intersections that forces drivers to slow down.
So some of the measures that my colleague Aniket has been mentioning here are the roundabouts and also forming the traffic calming zones. So what I would like to suggest is over here that the roundabouts to install a traditional one costs a lot of money. So we can always go for the painted roundabout marking, which can guide the drivers, calm traffic, and decrease speed at intersection, which also costs us really less than the other ones. Secondly, enhancing the road markings can also help to prevent collision caused by confusion or driver error. And lastly, the installation of glass road stud reflectors with a 360-degree reflection can help in avoiding collisions by improving the visibility of the road in low light conditions, particularly during the nighttime or in bad weather. So I'm just going to show you how they help the different passenger vehicles in our video in the next slide. So as you can see, this is one of the video which shows that a person is driving in the night in rain time and he still cannot see his lanes where he's moving, and anybody passing him or on a turn, he can actually be he can get blinded and cannot see, which can lead to a collision. In the next video, we can see that there is better marking thanks to the glass road stud detectors, and which have a feature of a spherical shape with reflective panels on all sides, making the road more visible. Going on to the monetary discussions about implementing both of these, we can, as it is, see that the roundabouts which we are painting only range about 5,000 to 15,000 CAD, and the glass stud reflectors, as you see over here. So we have basically generalized that $5 for a single reflector, and $5 is the actually the installation cost, and the width of the road is 3 meter and the length of the road is 10 meter. So in generalizing, every per square feet area need one reflector, and the total cost over here is $300, which is pretty less, and we can install these to give more aid to the passengers so that it can help them in guiding their way on the road and protecting lives.
Moving on to our next recommendation, which is providing financial incentives. Let me take you to the data first, and then I'll explain what type of financial incentives we are recommending. So firstly, to the data sets, that the data visualization that you see here is restricted to the age group of 20 to 24 only. The other age groups are not included. So in the first pie chart, we can see that majorly the accidents are happening in the dark or dark artificial light, which almost you can see more than 50% of the collisions that are happening is in the dark. That's at the night time, right? If we look at the bar graphs, we can see that the age group between 20 to 24 is more prone to consuming alcohol and driving, which, as we all know, is one of the major causes of collision. If we look at the tables here, it shows us exactly which days more collisions are happening. That's mostly during the weekends on Friday, Saturdays, and Sundays. That's where mostly the youths will go out, they will party, they will be outside with their friends, with their family. And then the next table that we see is we can see that at night, 11 p.m., 1 a.m., 2 p.m. are the most highly prone to collisions. At that time, mostly the collisions are happening. So what are we trying to say here is the age group between 20 to 24, mostly the collisions happening at night, during the weekends, they have a party culture. We need to encourage them not to drive, or we need to encourage them to drive safely. How can we do either of these, right? Firstly, to encourage them not to drive at that particular time in that particular number of days, especially when you've consumed alcohol, is we can partner with the ride sharing companies like Uber, Lyft, and then we can provide them the ride services at incentivized rates. So we, of course, when we go outside, we cannot travel in the public transit, right? So we need to encourage them to use ride sharing services instead. So if we provide them incentives, especially on Friday, Saturdays, and Sundays, and during the night time, especially after the 11 p.m., it would be great in reducing the collusion, especially for this target age group. So of course, there is budget and financial constraints available. That's why we have pointed out exactly when and which number of days you should be providing the incentives in order for them not to drive and rather take the ride sharing services, right? The second one is to encourage safe driving habits. What we recommend is we can analyze the driving pattern and driving habits of this particular age group. We can take a data of last 1 year and we can see how their driving pattern has been. Have they got any tickets? Have they missed signals? Whether they are wearing the seat belts? Many things can be considered here, and we can partner with insurance companies and reduce their premium if they are driving safely. If they have a record of driving, we can do it in a scorecard format. And beyond one particular score, we can reduce the insurance premium. Of course, a lot of partnering with the other companies will be there. A lot of financial decisions has to be taken here. But this recommendation will be very helpful if it's an impact, because the impact of this one will be very immediate, and it will keeping the financials aside, we will be able to help a lot of we will be able to help save a lot of lives here. So that's why we recommend this. Moving on to another recommendation here.
So these are the findings we have for the daylight saving time. Under the same age group, 20 to 24, we noticed that collisions happens more frequently in summertime rather than in wintertime. So we are trying to reduce the numbers of collisions in the summertime and encourage people to continue driving safe in the wintertime. So we have two recommendations based on the finding we have here. The first recommendation is the educational awareness champions. It can be promoted in the college and the university. And the second one is the public arts installations, such as street arts, poster. It would definitely bring youngers' attention so they can know where they should drive safe and be cautious. And it will not only influence artists, students, it will also influence the passengers pass by these street arts. And you will influence the people around them so you can make a difference. Meanwhile, we would recommend collaborating with college, university students for creating the public arts, and then we can promote driving safely. And then we have two practical implementations here. And the first one is in the Broad Street and Avenue Road. where is in the conditions of daylight, red light, and adjunctive driving collisions happen in this area. And based on our observation in this location, multiple museum and educational organizations are nearby. And moving on the second location, so this is the college and Bay Street, and you can see the educational organization, hospital, Ministry of Finance are also here. From these two locations, we will see many visitor and driver will pass these two intersections. If we start public gas program to raise people attention, and they will be more careful when they drive. In this case, we could avoid collisions in the future. Besides, for the winter and summer daylight saving time, public ads can be updated for different contents. And then they can calm down people in the summertime, and that they can encourage people continue driving safe in the winter time. There are just two examples that we found from our data set. But the public arts and internship program for the art student are not just limited to these two places. We can act proactively to prevent more collisions if we have multiple locations, start having the public arts, and we start the art student programs. Also, we believe younger people have powerful influence on their other generations, like their parents, sister, brother, and their friends. This public arts and educational program will be beneficial and make a difference to save more lives.
Coming to the conclusion, we found out that let's take an action and reduce the collision, prioritizing the road user safety. Following are the implementation and the recommendation we followed as based on the impact and the cost. So we highly recommend that priority will be an infrastructure as it's not so costly. As second, we will go with the education campaigns. It will not give so much of financial constraint over there. And third will be the providing incentives. However, we can say that talking about the impact, the first will be the infrastructure, then comes the incentives, and then comes the education campaigns. But looking into the constraint, we followed it as an given below. Okay, so looking to all the traditional inputs, what we are here to suggest for the future studies is Toronto police can leverage the power of technology to reduce the collisions. As mentioned, the collision prediction systems can be installed on the roads to decrease the collisions. The second they can install is the intelligent traffic management system, where this system will be providing brief info on what's the how ahead to the roadabouts are getting the traffics, if there is any collisions occurs over there. Using the data and AI/ML tools, it will also predict way before when the traveler is going through that route that yes, the traffic is there and the collision may happen, so you should take care. And the third is tie up with the tech companies. So Canada has many tech companies which uh, currently having some softwares. And also Toronto police, according to the research and the study we did, Toronto police had done some competition where they got ideas about, and the practical implementation is yet to be done. So we here highly recommend that if Toronto police is only doing on the traditional input, either they should try empowering or leveraging the technology part. Here are some resources which we took the use of in our study. Okay, so thank you and be safe.